December 14th, it's Christmas season. And no, that doesn't mean eggnog and presents and a fat old man in a red suit. It doesn't mean snow, as you can see by this very sunny 90-degree Georgia weather, alright? It means one thing and one thing alone. Christmas movies. I know, it's like super cliche to make a YouTube video about a bad Christmas movie, but I don't care. I'm doing it. So the movie we're watching today is called Elves. It's from 1989, and it really shows. It's in 480p, and it's terrible. So let's watch this thing. The establishing shot really only tells us one thing about the movie, and that's that it takes place during Christmas, because tree. So the movie starts with these people walking through a forest, and it's dark and scary, and there's some spooky music playing, and I just realized I forgot to mention this is a horror movie, so if you're a scaredy little baby, too bad. Watch to the end of the video.
Finally. Everything has to be right.
Well, how is this any more right than it was a mile back?
I don't know, it just feels right.
They all sit down in this seemingly arbitrary location in the forest, and they're about to talk about something, so you better listen with your ears.
We have to be close to Mother Earth.
Get real, Kirsten.
Get over it, Amy.
And, well, those are the most 80s names of all time. The other character's name is Brooke, but apparently they have to be close to Mother Earth.
We now convene the Sisters of Anti-Christmas.
Sisters? What is this, a script?
Apparently these people are all anti-Christmas, which I guess that means they're Grinches. That makes the most sense to me. So one of them takes out a notebook and starts reading this.
We bemoan Christmas as a petty, over-commercialized media event. What's bemoan?
Means I didn't get any good presents last year.
Oh, I can totally relate to that.
Besides, it doesn't even look like it's gonna snow.
No, they're not Grinches, but they are just as bad.
You guys, I thought you were gonna help me figure out how to get Dave.
Oh, come on, his is bent anyway.
We are, Amy, but why just figure out Dave?
Although, I don't think it's fair to call them normal humans, because they think they're witches or something. And they're trying to get this dude Dave to like one of them, and they're trying a bunch of different stuff. Just general witchcraft, you know?
Should figure out everything. We're girls, remember? We're the master race.
Killer.
We could control everything and everyone. So we just have to have a bond, like a secret that the rest of the world will never know.
Here we go. I bite down on Kit Kats and don't split them apart. That's a good secret. One girl points to something she sees on the notebook, and she's like, "What's that?"
What's this?
It's our symbol, the Virgin of Anti-Christmas.
Virgin? Ew.
I dreamed those Art Deco boobs. Cool, huh?
Why does the Virgin of Anti-Christmas have such big bazonkas, you know?
Hey, the candle.
Seems like a very low-key reaction to absolutely demolishing your hand.
Are you okay? Wait, here. Let's get out of here. Well, what about the ceremony? We just have to be blood sisters.
Oh.
So they didn't get to finish the ceremony. They just gotta get out of there. So a scary hand rises out of the ground, and it belongs to the elf, which is where the title of the movie comes in, believe it or not. And then we get this awesome shot of the elf's point of view. Kirsten gets home, and her grandpa enters the room, which is bad news. And not just because he reeks of old people, but also because the book she was using was his.
Grandpa, I was just gonna...
What were you doing with the book?
Nothing, I was looking at it.
Where? You weren't at home? You're in the forest.
No, you told me never to go there.
I also told you never to touch my books.
Imagine reading. Couldn't be me. So in the next scene, we get another POV shot of the elf wandering through the forest, and he starts eating something out of a tree, and it's like really weird, and it's so dark I can barely tell what's happening, and it's really weirdly placed, and it ends really abruptly. I don't know why they put it in there.
Are you hurt? Good. Where have you been?
Nowhere. I was with Brooke and Amy.
Your grandfather said you went in his room without permission.
Yeah, I guess I was.
Well, you broke the rules. You're going to have to be punished.
He's already slapped me twice.
Well, that isn't going to stay with you. But this will. Your savings account is history. I'm going to the bank tomorrow to close it out.
Kirsten's mom punishes her and takes all her money away because she wasn't supposed to be in her grandpa's room, and she wasn't supposed to go in the forest either. And as a consolation method, she goes and takes a sad shower, which is hilarious. And also, she's rubbing her forehead a lot, and I don't know what that's doing. Is she cleaning her forehead? There's no bubbles.
What are you doing?
And boom, that's what I meant when I said this movie hasn't aged well. This little tiny, like, 5-year-old boy is peeking on his sister in the shower. Very weird.
Pervert.
And after this part, it just goes even more downhill from there, and I don't even think I'm gonna show it, because it is, like, really messed up. But the gist is that he's just a terrible person, and let me just say, he's gonna get what's coming to him. It looks as if the elf has entered the people's house. It's scary. No, it's not. It looks awful, and it's barely distinguishable because it's so dark.
About?
It was like a little man, like a ninja, only like a gremlin.
I don't think calling it a little man will describe at all what it looked like. It was gray, and it had scary looking teeth. That's not a little man.
It was a fucking little ninja troll.
So sadly, the kid doesn't get killed by the elf. That sucks, man. But anyway, it cuts to Kirsten at work, and she's with her friends, and she's so stoked for break.
It's almost break. I've been waiting for this all day.
And at the end of that shot, we get this really weird cinematography where Kirsten walks away, and then the music continues playing, the background music in the scene, which I assume is playing from speakers in the restaurant. But the people in the restaurant stop talking, and it's really awkward.
Cool.
You see what I mean?
How are you? How you doing?
Okay, Hugh. Looks like Christmas is treating you okay.
And now we meet the main hero of this movie. And let me just say, he's great. And so far, there's 2 things we know about him. 1, his name is Nick. And 2, he needs a job.
I need a job.
And now we're introduced to Mall Santo. And what a cool man he is.
Ho, ho, ho. And what do you want for Christmas this year, my young lad?
I want a Nintendo.
Nintendo? That's great. They're on sale today in the basement. Today only. Merry Christmas.
No, he's not a cool man. He sucks at his job. Back at Kirsten's house, Kirsten's mom is trying to kill their cat because she thinks the cat was the one who attacked the little pervert boy.
Nice, kitty.
Toyland's in the basement, Sarah. Merry Christmas. Ho, ho, ho.
You know, Santa should really stop calling random people hoes.
And what do you want for Christmas, little girl?
For it not to be Christmas.
Why?
I hate snow. Can you make it snow?
So Kirsten wants it to snow, but Santa wants something else. While Santa's being creepy, Kirsten's mom is drowning the cat. Straight up animal abuse.
You better take a break right now. It's the first time in 50 years at Golem's anything like this has happened.
Santa gets fired, presumably, and then, believe it or not, he actually is debatably less of a horrible person.
Hi, Santa.
But uh-oh, Santa about to get stabbed.
Guy tries to feel you up, you slap him, words are exchanged. He's found dead a few minutes later with his nuts cut off. What should I think?
So, apparently the cops think that Kirsten killed Santa, and for good reason. But she responds with this.
Isn't that the spirit of Christmas?
Unaware that her mom killed her cat, Kirsten thinks she hears her cat outside and goes to her window, only to be scared by the scary little elf man. So Kirsten's grandpa is kind of sus, and he's giving off some serious vibes that he knows who this elf guy is.
What did you see in the window?
A troll, a raccoon, I don't know, a ninja gremlin.
Say here, the elf Lucha.
Don't start that again. You and your damn elves. I'm sick of it.
Apparently, Kirsten's mom has heard about these elfer wounsters or whatever the dude said, and she doesn't like one bit of it. Good news! Our boy Nick got a job as Santa. So Nick is dusting around on the floor and he notices a very sus footprint.
This is none of my concern.
But he doesn't care. He's just gotta get out of there and start being Santa again. So then the movie cuts to these German guys discussing bringing elves back to life. Apparently there are these bloodthirsty creatures that used to exist and were used as weapons by the Nazis, but no more because they all are extinct.
The elves will walk the earth.
But Kirsten is this boss dude's granddaughter, so he doesn't want it to happen.
I decided many years ago this must not happen.
Kirsten and her friends are at a candy store. Candy's nuts fit in your mouth. Okay, we're just gonna pretend I didn't make that joke. Later, they're in the mall waiting for somebody to pick them up, and they see Nick out of his Santa costume.
Santa.
He's like, oh, what are you doing here?
What are you doing here?
We didn't touch anything. We didn't steal anything. Just don't tell my parents, okay?
At first they're scared, but then after a closer inspection, they realize this guy is living in the mall because he's homeless. So they strike up a deal.
I'll make a deal with you. You don't steal anything. You don't break anything. Don't bug me. All right?
Deal.
So then the Nazis from earlier break into the mall because they want the elf to frick Kirsten to birth the Antichrist. I'm not making this up. Nick tries to protect Kirsten from the Nazis and cue gunfight. Brooke gets cornered behind a shelf and we get our first very clear sighting of the elf, and let me tell you, it's fantastic. Gotta say, that's the funniest death scene in any movie whatsoever. You can't argue with that. The next day, Nick goes to the library and shows the librarian this symbol.
What can you tell me about this?
Because he found it carved into Brooke's arm after the elf killed her.
Now that's an obscure one.
The librarian doesn't really say what the symbol means, but he does say what the
Fucking little ninja troll.
is.
We call them elves.
The librarian explains that elves aren't really a thing anymore. Nobody's seen one for 50 years.
But about 50 years ago, there was a group that believed in elves. They did one hell of a lot of killing. The Nazis.
The Nazis?
Mm-hmm.
They believed in elves?
Oh, yes.
Well, what the hell were these Nazis going to do with these elves?
I don't know. Oh, actually, Professor O'Connor. He is more up to date on the Nazis than I am.
The librarian explains that the Nazis believe in elves, but he's not really a Nazi expert, so he referred Nick to somebody by the name of Dr. O'Connor. Why do names that start with an O apostrophe always sound like the person said something really funny? O'Connor.
Where could I find him now?
He should be home.
For the next few minutes of the movie, nothing really happens, so I'm gonna skip ahead to a later scene that I find very funny. So apparently the elf broke into Kirsten's house and put a toaster in the bath with Kirsten's mom and kills her. And there's just frontal nudity in this scene. Keep in mind, this movie has a PG-13. There's just full-on bro. So R.I.P. Mom. So, have you noticed throughout this movie that Kirsten hasn't had a dad ever? That's because her grandpa is her dad. Yeah, he committed incest. And there's a reason, don't worry. Officer, there's a reason. He had to have a pure Aryan daughter in order for her to be suitable to mate with the elf. I'm not making that up. That's what he says.
I impregnated my own daughter to produce an offspring that would be suitable to the elf.
And that's just so gross, not to mention illegal. So now we're pretty close to the end of the movie, and at this point, the elf has tied down Kirsten and is about to her. So her little brother finally does something good in this movie and brings her this antidote that her grandpa was keeping in safe storage.
Bring it to me slowly.
Kirsten somehow knows how to use this antidote and stabs it into the ground and just casually drops an F slur. Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good. And of course, this movie had to follow the classic trope of fading to white when the bad guy is killed. And then, out of nowhere, we get this plot twist where we see little elf baby, which is insane and weird and terrifying. And frankly, it's the only scary part of this entire movie. So, a pretty weird ending to a pretty weird movie. No, scratch that. A very weird ending to a very, very, very weird movie. But all in all, Elves, pretty good movie. Just kidding, it sucks. Anyway, gamers, that's gonna be the end of today's video. I really hope you've enjoyed. I had a lot of fun making it. It did take a while, though. If you did enjoy, you can subscribe. You can watch some of my other videos. They should be on screen soon. You could share my videos with your friends, because maybe they like me more than you do, you stupid poser. You could leave a like, because believe it or not, 1 like equals 1 elf that will mate with me. I'll see you next time, but until then, goodbye.
Guess I'm giving off some type of energy. So fresh, so fly, like no gravity. When my jeans low, like I'm straight out the 90s. Slow-mo strut, make the boys double eye me. I got a UFO kind of coupe. I gas it up and I make it go wrong. Like, that's how I do